Hello my audio students, welcome to economics classes for 12th standard. We are doing part B of economics, that is IED, Indian Economic Development, and today we are going to start chapter number 3, that is features, problems and policies of agriculture by your Jerry sir. So let's start the video. So this is chapter number 3, which is based on agriculture. Either it's talk about features, problems and policies. It is all based on agriculture only. So let's start our chapter. This is lecture number 1. First we'll talk about the importance of agriculture in the Indian economy. So as we know that India is known as the agricultural country. So there is a very agriculture is very important from GDP point of view and from other points of view also. So first point is itself is what? Contribution to GDP. That agriculture is contributing to GDP in a large, you can say, percentage. As you can see there, during the period of planning, it means when you are starting this 5 years planning, that time it was how much? 51%. That it means agriculture sector is contributing 51% to the GDP, that is called national income. Then in 2014-15 it becomes 17.4% and 2018-19 it becomes 14.4%. Maybe this reducing rate is maybe alarming, but it's not showing that we are declining. By seeing this one, by observing these rates, we can't decline the importance of agriculture in Indian economy. So agriculture has a major share in India's national income, or we can say GDP. So and will continue. It will be continue to remain as important as it is right now. Okay, because most of the Indians are what? You can say that engaged in agricultural activities. Then we'll talk about it is what? Supply of wage good. Now what is the meaning of wage good here? Wage good means necessities of life, those goods which are necessary for life, like wheat, rice, pulses, maize, bajra, oil seeds, etc. These all are called what? Wage goods. Now agriculture provide wage goods to about, you can say, 1.3 billion Indians, or you can say 130 crore Indians, okay, which is met by agriculture sector only. So these requirements are met by whom? By agriculture sector only. So it is also supply for wage goods. Third is coming what? Source of employment. It is a source of employment because over 50% of the working population, member 50%, half 50% of working population and nearly 80% of our rural working population get their employment from agriculture sector only. So it is a big percentage, okay, which showing that how much we are dependent on agriculture sector. Okay, then fourth point which comes under importance of agriculture is what? Supply of raw material. So agriculture supplies industrial raw material like cotton for textile industry, seeds for the oil industry and sugar cane for the sugar mills. So we can't ignore its importance. Okay, then comes what? Source of demand for the industrial goods. Source of what? Demand. It means it's creating demand also for whom? For industrial goods. Okay, first they are providing what? Raw materials to industrial sector, and then even it's creating demand also. By how? By creating demand for tractor and harvester machines, okay, which are demanded exclusively by agricultural sector because they need to harvest their land. So for that purpose they need tractor and harvester. So in this way they are also creating what? Demand. So that's why it is a source of demand also. Then come at last sixth one, contribution to international trade. It's contributing to international trade. How? Because in 2018-19 the share of agriculture sector in total export, greater export shows the greater contribution to international trade. Okay, so we can say that total export of the country India stood at 11.76%. That agriculture sector have how much share percentage? 11.76% in total export. So it is a big percentage. Okay, then India exports which type of goods? Like tea, jute, cashew nuts, tobacco, coffee and spices. So we can't ignore the contribution in international trade also. And there are many more importance are also there in book, you can read out, but I have written here only 6 because the long question will come off 6 marks only. So you can write this 6 importance. Okay, now we'll talk about the features of Indian agriculture. Now let me tell you that Indian agriculture was very backward, okay, that time. That's why the first feature is what? Low productivity. Okay, productivity means what? What is the meaning of productivity? It means output per hectare of land. How much? What is the result? That is called output. So how much result you got per hectare of land? It is a unit of land. Okay, so if we compare with other countries, if we suppose that if we compare with China, if we're talking about the crop of rice, so in India it was 3.6 per ton, 3.6 ton per hectare of land, and in the same time it was in China 6.8 tons. just double, you can see, almost. Okay, wheat India 3.1 tons, in China 6.5 tons, and if we take other countries also, so it is less in compared to other countries. So we can show that low productivity. Okay, and it is a sign of what? Backwardness. Then comes what? Disguised unemployment. Now pay attention here because it is very important, and many students got confused that, sir, what is the meaning of disguised unemployment? See, disguised means hidden. Okay, and unemployment you know very well. Okay, when people are ready to work but they didn't get the work, so that is called disguised unemployment. Now how it comes, how it is different from the general unemployment? Actually, suppose that, to take example, there is a piece of land. What is there? There is a piece of land. Okay, and in that piece of land there are number of persons which are required, or you can say needed, are 10. How much we needed? 10. But how many persons are engaged in that land? 25. Usually you can see that one family is engaged in the farming, so the all family persons are coming to do that work. And the largely that time, and even today also, that you can, those who are engaged in farming or farm, or you can say agriculture sector, are having what? Large family. Okay, large family, many family members. So they 10 we are required, but 25 are what? Engaged. So 15 are extras. If you check here, 15 are extra. Okay, so these 15 peoples will be called what? Disguised unemployed. What they will be called? Disguised unemployed. Because in reality many are unemployed, because only these 10 people we are needed. So these 10 are employed here, but these 15 are extras. These are what? Called disguised unemployment. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Next is coming dependence on rainfall. So as you know very well, maybe you have heard a song also of Lagan. Okay, where they are crying for what? Rain. Okay, and they're asking rain from God. So we are heavily dependent on rainfall for our what? Irrigation. So this dependence cost us in what? Highly uncertain. Because see, rainfall is uncertain. If rain is good, then we can get good crop. If rain is bad, in less quantity, so we will get bad crop. So this uncertainty of rainfall leads in what? Low productivity. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Next is coming what? Subsistence farming. It is very important here. Subsistence farming, I have explained this one earlier also, but once again I am explaining what is the meaning of subsistence farming. Subsistence farming is those farming where the farmers are growing crop for their self consumption. They are not growing the crops for their profit motive, but they are growing crop just only for that motive, that they can get what? They can consume all the crop. But as their motive is not to earn profit, so they fails to generate what? Surplus for investment. See what, how much they have you can say grown, they are consuming it all. So they are not selling it out. So they are not you can say growing crop for earning profit. So if they will not have money at hand, so they can't get invest. So in this way they can't expand their money, or they can't you can say that expand their land also. So this is the reason also we can say that Indian agriculture become backward. Then comes what? Lack of modern inputs, modern technology, you can say modern inputs like chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides, as these are what? Expensive, because our farmers are poor. Okay, so they can't you can say afford to purchase these type of chemicals. So this leads to again what? You can say low growth of crops. Then comes what? Small holdings, like you can say that we have learned earlier also that those who are, you can say, tenants or the farmers, they are having very small lands. Okay, and scattered also. Some one land is here, one part of land is here. So it is very difficult to use machine on those small holdings, or you can say small size of land. So this creating what? Once again another problem. Okay, so these are what you can say features of Indian agriculture. Maybe you can find more features also. Okay, but these are the main features of what? Indian agriculture. I hope it is clear to you. So students, now we will talk about the problems of Indian agriculture. Actually in features only we have discussed these problems, but now as a separate section we have to study them. So first one is what? Lack of permanent means of irrigation. It means lack of rainfall. Same thing only. So as the farmers are heavily dependent on rainfall, so and rainfall is what? Uncertain. So there is a lack of permanent means of irrigation, which you can say a basic reason for the low growth, or you can say low productivity. Then comes what? Deficiency of finance. As you know very well that the financial condition of farmers is worst. So farmers are extremely poor. So the small farmers depend on the non-institutional sources like mahajans, money lenders, landlords, and when they are giving them money as a, or you can say loan, so they charge what, high rate of interest. This int dot means interest, you can write full here, okay. So they charge what, high rate of interest, which becomes also a problem for these farmers. Then comes what, conventional outlook. Now what is the meaning of conventional here? What is the meaning of conventional? Actually the Indian farmers not focusing on profit motive. Their motive is just to what, grow crop and consume it for their consumption, for their personal consumption. So Indian farmers focus on crops which are offer them food security. It means that they can get 2 times food, okay. Just for that purpose they are growing crop. They are not growing crop for, you can say that, for earning high profits. And that is the what, that is what the basic lacking of these farmers, because they are not ready to take risk. Because when you will take risk, then only you will earn more profit. So they are not growing those crops in which they can earn more profit, just they are growing those crops to which they can consume. This is what conventional outlook of Indian farmers, and this is the problem of Indian agriculture. Then comes what, small and scattered holding. Already we have learned in features that we are the Indian farmers are having what, small holdings, that they are having a small size of land to work on. So small and scattered also, so they are having small and scattered also. It means some part of this is here, some part of this is here, and this type of land parts they are having, which is not suitable for use of modern technology, because modern technology includes tractors and harvesters, which we can't use in this much small land, okay. So this increase, and this increase in cost of management also, because some is here, one is here, one is here, so it increase their cost also. So already they are facing problem, financial problem, and this again it's increasing cost also. So that's why it is a problem, small and scattered holdings for the Indian agriculture. Then coming to what, exploitative agrarian relation. So what is the meaning of agrarian relation here? First, it means business relationship between the landlords and the tenants. Okay, you know very well how was the relation between landlords and tenants. They are they are treating the tenants as a what, as animals, okay. So landlords seldom do farming, landlords never go on farm, okay. They never go on land, just they are enjoying their life at their home only, and taking high rent from their tenants, that farmers, okay. And by just they are earning by way of high rents and charges. So whatever they are growing, those who are tenants, those who are actually the hard workers, those who are actually those who actually work on the land, they are called tenants, okay, tillers. So they are actually working, but who is taking all the money, or most of the money? Landlords. They are enjoying the money, they are enjoying the profit, and they have to you can say that face what, you can say finance problem, okay, financial crisis. Then comes what, lack of organized marketing system. Now why it is there, marketing system? As I already told that farmers are forced to sell their crop, produce crop, or you can say output, to the money lenders, because they have taken too much money as a loan from those money lenders. So they have to sell whatever crops they have grown to those money lenders at less price, or you can say at reduced price, okay. The price which they can get at market, higher price, but they can't sell at that price, because the money lenders are there from whom they have taken loan, so they have to give them at low price, which because they have taken loan from them, which leads to what, again what, crisis of finance. So these are what problems of Indian agriculture. I hope it is clear to you. Even you can include here what, landlords tenants conflict. Even you can include here primitive technology also, which is also a problem of Indian agriculture. But I have written here six problems, as you can see here, and these 6 problems are enough to write answer for a long question, okay. So I hope it is clear to you. So now our next topic is agrarian reforms or reforms in Indian agriculture. So what it means, agrarian reforms, it means the policies or the measures which are taken to solve agriculture problems. These policies are only called what, agrarian reforms. So the agrarian reforms are taken place in 3 steps. First is what, technical reforms, or known as green revolution. And second is what, institutional reforms, or you can say land reforms. And third is what, general reforms. So first we will talk about technical reform. So first point which comes under technical reform is what, use of HYV seeds. Now what is the meaning of here HYV? HYV stands for high yielding variety seeds. It means this HYV seeds, we can say, especially related to the wheat, bajra, rice, maize and jowar and cotton also, which led to a substantial rise in the crop productivity, because these already are what high yielding variety. So these seeds are you can say work better than the normal seeds. That's why we can say that it brings what green revolution since 1965 we can say. Then comes what use of chemical fertilizers. Actually, chemical fertilizers are being increasingly used to enhance what productivity. In the same you can size of land, you can produce more crops. How? By using the chemical fertilizers. The use of chemical fertilizers increased over time. If we talk about year 2017-18, so nearly 265.9 lakh tons of chemical fertilizers were used. So we can say it comes technical reforms only. Then comes what use of insecticides and pesticides. Actually that insecticides and pesticides are used to protect the crops from the insects. So for plant protection, an integrated pest management program was adopted along with the adaptation of HYV technology. So this also taken place to protect your crop. Then comes what scientific farm management practices. Scientific farm. Earlier that we are focusing on what conventional farming, but now the scientific farm management practices has taken place of conventional farming, and under scientific methods of farming, selection of crops, their quality, preparation of soil, the rotation of crops, so all these things are taken place in what scientific farming. Then comes what mechanized means of cultivation. So what is the meaning of mechanized means of cultivation here? Actually it means to enable the small farmers to buy agricultural machines at cheap credit facilities. So these are provided by whom? By cooperative societies. They provide you can say those who are small farmers, they provide them what agricultural machines on cheap small loans, okay, which are not on high rates. So small and marginal farmers, agencies, regional rural banks, and even commercial banks also fulfilling this purpose. So these are points which comes under technical reforms. Now we'll talk about what institutional reforms, or you can say land reforms. So first one is coming what abolition of intermediaries. So what is intermediaries? You have definitely have heard about jamindars. So under this what happened, the jamindars have been abolished and ownership rights have been conferred upon those who are actually cultivate that crop. It means that tenants. So these ownership, so the ownership rights of the land is given to them. Then comes what regulation of rent. Actually earlier the rent was that whatever rent they fixed, you can say according to their wish, the landlords taken their high rent. But so with you can say that with the starting of this regulation of rent, what happened, it puts end to this excessive or illegal extortions. So rent have been fixed, so these are not exceeds 1/3 of the value of crop. So this is a very good step under this agrarian reforms. Then comes what consolidation of holdings. So what is the meaning of consolidation here? Actually the consolidation is a practice to allot land to the farmers at one's place, not at that fragmented here, one is small is here like that, so it create problem. It is not like here. In this process what happened, the farmers were provided a land at one place as a replacement for their scattered holdings, okay. So it saves their cost of cultivation. Then comes what ceiling on land holdings. Now what is the meaning of ceiling here? So ceiling of land means what? It means that on land holdings ceiling on land holding refers to the maximum amount of land which an individual can hold. So on that thing government has put what limitation. So the main purpose of this land ceiling was to what? To reduce the concentration of the ownership of land holdings in a few hands. So in this way they have fixed this one land reform, ceiling of land reform. So in this way that they have to you can say that give up their land reformings, that those landlords. So whatever the surplus land government got, they have redistributed among whose? Among the needy farmers. Then comes what cooperative farming. Now what is the meaning of cooperative farming here? Actually cooperative farming is made to encourage what bargaining power of the small farmers. Whose farmers? Small farmers, okay. So together they can buy, those all small farmers together, if they unite, and so together they can buy inputs at a lower price and sell their produce at a higher price. So that's why this cooperative farming has taken place. These are what land reforms. Now we'll talk about general reforms. So under general reforms, first one is coming expansion of irrigation facilities. So we have learned under the problems of agricultural sector that under this one Indian farmers were heavily dependent on rain. Okay, and rain is uncertain, so that's why there will be need to expand the irrigation facilities. So due to the irrigation facilities, it becomes easy to irrigate to what to use to utilize your irrigation facilities. So many even projects have been launched across different parts of the country for the irrigation. Even in 1951, barely 17% of land was under permanent means of irrigation. And if we talk about today, so today irrigation is covering about 45% of land under cultivation. Now talk about provision of what? Credit. So cooperative credit societies have been set up to provide credit to the farmers at low rate of interest. Just already we have done this one also. So at present there are 94,647 primary agriculture credit societies and 768 primary cooperative agricultural and rural development banks in the country. Even nowadays commercial banks also providing what? Credit to the needy farmers. Okay, so that they can expand their income. Then comes what? Regulated markets and cooperative marketing societies. So what is the meaning of here regulated markets? Actually these markets are governed by the market committees appointed by the government. These committees ensure what? Timely payment to the farmers, because nowadays farmers are not getting the payment on time. So these committees ensure that the farmer should get the payment on time, and also ensure that only specified weights and measures are used to weigh and value the farmers produce. Then comes what? Cooperative market society. So these societies are established to enhance what? Bargaining power of the farmers in the markets only. Okay. Then comes what? Price support policy. Last one, price support policy. So under this policy, government assures a minimum support price, that this much price farmers should get. They have fixed a minimum price. Okay, and if the farmers were not getting that minimum price, so the government is committed to buy the surplus you can say output of the farmer at minimum support price, as and when the price market is lower than that. So that time, if the price market is lower than that price, suppose that government has fixed 100 rupees for 1 quintal, okay, for 1 ton you can sow. Just we are taking example, okay, for quantity. If market price is 90, okay, what at market price 90, so the government will purchase that one at rupees 100 only, in order to support what? Farmers only, in order to support the Indian agriculture. So these are what? Agrarian reforms which we have learned under the reforms: technical reforms, institutional reforms, and general reforms. Now we'll talk about our next topic, that is achievements of agrarian reforms, which is also known as green revolutions. So we can see that due to agrarian reforms there is an improvement in Indian agriculture. The Indian agriculture, which was once a backward and a stagnant, now it becomes what? A developing sector of the economy. Okay, it is due to these reforms only, and this achievement only has been known as what? Green revolution, where the green means crops and revolution means sport. Sport means increase. So if we say that together, what is the meaning of crops plus sport? So we can say that sport in crop production means that increase in the crop production, okay, increase in the productivity, and it is started from in the year 1967-68. In this year the food grains production increased by nearly 25%, and India becomes what? Self-sufficient. Okay, self-sufficiency, you can say that it increases of India here. So we can say that in this stage India became self-sufficient in the production of food grains. So basically we can divide the phases of green revolution in two phases: phase 1 and phase 2. In phase 1, as you can see here, just check properly this one, phase 1, which is you can see that basically in mid 60s to mid 70, the scope of green revolution restricted largely to wheat and rice growing regions of the country, especially in Punjab, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. It was growing here only, it is spreading here only, this green revolution, okay, but not in other regions. And if we talk about phase 2, so it was from mid 70s to mid 80s, okay, after this. So in this green revolution impact became widespread. From this only Punjab, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, it is spread to other parts of the country also, okay. So it is so we can say the end, just earlier it was only wheat and rice production of these crops only. Now there are more number of crops increases in this phase 2. Okay, so now we can talk about the benefits and limitations of green revolutions. So the green revolution advantages we can say as positives, and the limitations we can say as negatives. Okay, merits or demerits also you can say. So first we'll talk about the positive of green revolution. So under positive, first we will talk about increase in productivity. By adopting new agriculture technology, green revolution has increased the per hectare productivity of major cereals, especially wheat and rice. Okay, so this is the first positive, or you can say first advantage of what? Green revolution. Then second is what? Accumulation of surplus production or produce. Now what we are having? We are having the surplus output. Okay, as I have written here, buffer stock of good. So here that what happened due to this one, you can say multi-crop program since 1967-68 enabled us to raise huge buffer stock of food grains. Now buffer stock of food grains can be used in times of shortage. Buffer stock means more, okay, very large stock of goods. So it helps in the you can say in the time of shortage. So it improved the India's food security system also. Okay, so thus green revolution had been achieving what? Self-sufficiency, one of the long-term goals of planning, which achieved by this one, green revolution. Then third is coming what? Shift from subsistence farming to commercial farming. The farmers of India who's basically first focusing on their self-consumption, right now they are focusing on the commercialization of the farming also. So now what happens? Now they it helps them to what? To sell, first to use their you can say that crop for their self consumption, and whatever surplus crops left they are selling in the market. So they are getting what? Profit from them. So it increase the earning of farmers. So that is the another advantage of green revolution. Then what? Facilitated multiple cropping. Now it was not, you can say that it is not possible before earlier, but green revolution significantly reduced the time lag between sowing and harvesting of crop, thereby facilitating possibility of growing more than one crop on a piece of land. So this also helped in solving a problem of seasonal unemployment to a great extent. So these are what you can say benefits or positives of the green revolution. Now everything has a positive and negative effects also. Let's talk about the negatives now, or you can say limitations. So first one is what? Restricted to limited crops and areas. As we have learned earlier also, that the impact of green revolution remained confined only to the some states, especially if we talk about Punjab, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh. These are the main, okay, because you can say Western UP also, which comes under this, and especially they are growing the crops of only what? Wheat and rice. Okay, it was because of the reason we can say that the adaptation of new agriculture technology requires extensive irrigation facilities and large financial resources, which we are lacking. So this is the first negative. Second is coming what? Economic divide, or you can say widened gap between rich and poor farmers. So the utmost weakness or risk of the green revolution and new agriculture technology was that it benefited only big and rich farmers. Okay, it is because of simple reason the big farmers could afford the purchase of improved seeds because it is expensive. So it is not possible for the poor farmers. Third one is coming what? Environmental degradation. As the HYV crops, high yield variety crops, were also more prone to attack by pests, and small farmers who adopted this technology could lose everything in their pest attack. So what happened? To avoid this problem, they have started excessive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, which was made, and it created the problem of pollution and health hazards, and this has raised the question of sustainability of land and environment. So these are what we can say positive and negatives of green revolution, and here we have completed all the topics of this chapter. I hope it is clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can ask in chat section. Thank you. At last, I just want to say be safe and God bless you all.